Hey guys, welcome to Module 5. In this module, we'll be learning how to use the tiling function. Let's get started. So we can always click on the Customize and then click on the tiles. Once we are in, we can always double click onto our floor. Alright, so over here as you can see, it shows the living room layout. Right, so I'll be creating the tiles on my living room layout. Alright, so first thing we need to do is, as you can see, we have our furnitures blocking our view. Okay, so to hide our furnitures, we can always come right here, display, and then just untick the furnitures to have a clearer view of your layout. Alright, so first thing, we can always start by using this rectangle function. Alright, so you can either click on this or just press the shortcut key R. Right, once we click on it, we can always start drawing an area. Alright, so right now basically I am separating my layout into 3 different areas. So as you can see, I have 1, 2, and 3. Right, so next thing over here is our plan library. Okay, so we have different types of tiling templates for you to use. Alright, so first thing, we can always use a normal tile. Okay, so we can always zoom in closer. Okay, we can always move around by clicking on your scrolling ball. Okay, so we can just move around the layout. Okay, so as I zoom in closer, I want to start by putting these tiles at this angle. Okay, so all I need to do is just drag the circle. Alright, so just drag the tiles and position them according to where you want it to be. Alright, so over here as you can see, they are 3D. Okay, you can also minimize it slightly smaller, or you can drag it to make it look bigger. We can click on the tiles, and over here on the right hand side you can see a paving parametric. Alright, so over here we can either choose all or single, which means that if I change my material and I chose single, it will only change this piece of tiles. But if I want to change all together, I can just click all. So let's start by changing a tile's color. So I'm going to go for marble. I'm going to go for 800 by 800. Okay, so once I have, I can just choose and change all my tiling materials. Alright, so over here you may also resize your tiles, as you can see. Okay, just type in the dimensions to resize. Right, and also this position, as you can see over here, you can use this position. As you can see, there are a few boxes here. We can always just click on this, and as you can see on my 2D layout, the position of my tiling has changed. Right, so you can use this to position as well, or you can manually drag to position. And as you can see, a brick seam. Alright, brick seam is actually the black color line, alright, the gap between each and every tiles. Alright, so to let you have a closer look, I'm going to change this to a different color so you may see what I'm trying to say. So this is the brick seam. Alright, so we can also change the size of the brick seam. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave it at 2. Okay, I'm going to change it back to black. Alright, and also we can always rotate our tiles to a 45-degree angle just by clicking on this. Alright, we can just rotate however we want. Alright, or we can just type in the numbers to rotate. Alright, and also the tile thickness, which is the thickness of the tiles, we can also adjust the size of the thickness over here. Right, I'm just going to remain it as 8. Okay, so right now onto the second area. Okay, for the second area, I'm going to use a scheme combination. Okay, so just drag a template into your middle area. Okay, so now we can always select the borderline and also select the center tiles. Okay, so first up for the borderline, same thing. All right, it's called a wave line. Okay, so you can always change your materials here. All right, you can always resize. Basically, it's the same settings as a normal tile. All right, so if let's say I want to delete this side of the wave line. Okay, I can just right click unilateral. Okay, and if I would like to delete the entire waveline, all right, I can just right click and click on delete waveline. All right, and if I want to delete the tiles, all right, we can always just right click and empty it. Okay, so let me just redrag it. Okay, over here, if you want to change the material, you may change, but I'm just going to leave it dark brown. Okay, but for the middle center tiles, I'm going to change it to different types of tiles. So all I need to do is just drag a different types of tiling templates into the middle section. All right, so right over here, I can just click on my tiles and I can always start to resize. Basically, the settings, the changing material, changing the size, brick seam is all the same. All right, moving on, I'm going to introduce you the straight line function, circle function, and the polyline function. All right, so for the straight line function, you may draw shapes or patterns, all right, however you want. Okay, so join them together, right click to exit. Okay, so now we may drag the tiles in. Okay, we may drag different types of tiles. So basically this is an area. All right, so you can always use the straight line to create a pattern of your own and put in tiles. All right, next up, we are going to use the circle. All right, so click on the circle. Okay, we can always do a semicircle or we can do a full circle. All right, same thing. This is a circular area. So what we can do after drawing is that we can always put in another type of tiles. All right, so let me just empty this one first. And if you would like to delete the area, just click on the area and press delete. Simple as that. Well, for this side, I'm going to delete as well. All right, onto polyline. All right, so polyline is basically a little bit similar like straight line. All right, so what you need to do is just draw your pattern. So make sure you join them all together. Okay, but keep that in mind. Right now, when you're using a polyline, okay, once you're done connecting all the lines together, make sure you click on the line and right click and remember to transfer it to an area first. All right, once you transfer it to an area, it will turn into a white background, and now you are able to put in a different types of tiles. All right, so if you did not transfer it to an area, all right, so when you put in tiles, like I said, if you did not transfer it to an area, and if I try to put in tiles onto this shape that I just draw, it will basically change the entire area, okay, including outside of the pattern that you draw. So always remember to right click and transfer it to an area over here. All right, as you can see on my 3D. We have our tile library as well. Over here you can see different types of varieties of tiles which have a different dimensions to it, different sizing of the tiles. All right, so I'm going to show you how to mix the tiles together. So for example, I'm going to drag 3 different types of tiles. Alright, as you can see, I have 3 different types of tiles. Right now, what I can do is hold on to your control button. Select all these 3 tiles and then right click. You may use the function spread. When I spread it, they basically spread it randomly across my area, right? So I can undo. So let's do it again. Right click. So now I'm going to use a random spread. Okay, so basically it's a little bit the same. Okay, they basically just spread it randomly for you. Okay, and one last thing is the location mix. Right, so basically they'll mix up the location of these 3 different types of tilings. Right, you may also do shapes like that. All right, so let's say I put it in the middle. All right, right now hold on to control, right click and random spread. Right, so you may do different types of patterns for your tiles, depends on how you position and place it. Next up, we also have our water jet library. Okay, so the templates, you may also drag it out and use it. So basically, this type of water jets are more to commercial projects such as hotel lobbies. Okay, so you can click on the water jet and you may always drag to resize. All right, and then over here, when you click on the water jet, they will show you the elements, basically the materials inside this water jet design. So you may also replace it, which means that you can customize your very own color on this water jet. In our line library, we can also put in skirtings into our layout. So all you need to do is just drag it onto your 3D. Always remember to drag it on your 3D. And as you can see, I have a skirting. And if you would like to remove it, just right click and then remove skirting. Next up, we can also utilize the wave line. Basically, a wave line is the borderline. Okay, it's a little bit similar to this scheme combination. It's just that you are doing it manually. Right? Let's say I'm going to use a two layer. Right? So what I need to do is just draw this area. Okay, so basically I have the borderline. Okay, so now all I need to do is just drag in a tile patterns. All right, and as you can see, the 2-layer waveline has been created. So you can also drag in tiles onto your waveline to create a different kind of tiling design, as you can see. So the waveline is basically how you manually create your scheme your borderline. All right, same thing, if we want to delete the waveline, we can always just right click, delete waveline. All right, so as you can see, I've deleted one area, so one layer. So right now I'm only left with one layer of waveline. Okay, so what if I delete another layer of waveline? So I'll get a full piece of tiles. All right, so that's how you do it. Once you're done with your tiling design, we can always come over here, drawing, and then we can always click on the process chart. Alright, so this is very important and quite useful for designers, not only for designers, but also for the tiling installation guide. Okay, so over here, basically a tile processing chart is a cutting sheet of the entire layout of the tiles that you are going to install into the house. All right, so it's given that the quantity of the tiles, how many of these tiles you need to use on your layout. All right, and the dimensions are all given over here. All right, you may also export this into an Excel file and edit it in your Excel file. If you want to show the entire floor plan, you can always click on whole. But if let's say right now I'm only doing the floor on my living room, so I can just click on single to just focus on the layout that I'm going to draw. Alright guys, so we have come to an end of module 5, which is the tiling function. Good luck trying, guys.